So, hey everyone. So, Gotham. This week's episode, The Balloon Man. Interesting episode. This is the new format, so I don't know if I'm going to give too much away, but basically, the episode had to do with a guy who was trying to right some wrongs by launching people with weather balloons. Very interesting plot, to say the least. An enjoyable episode, and I don't know. It was quite different. We're getting along there. The ending of the episode was a nice little cliffhanger. I thought that was a great bit to do with the Penguin showing up on the doorstep of James Gordon. Um, this next episode this week is going to be interesting. But overall, we're seeing how things are starting to kind of lay out. We had Maroney and Falcone and Mooney and well, let's just jump right into my uh, takeaways from this episode. But overall, it was interesting to see how everything's kind of starting to fall into place and how Jim Gordon's life is probably going to end up messy by the end of this episode, and also how Bruce Wayne is starting to already kind of think in that Batman-ish type thing. But anyway, here we go. Takeaway one. The Balloon Man. There was kind of foreshadowing of Professor Pig there, with the pig mask when we first see him. And the second one was, I don't know, Stranger or Dark Man. I mean, he looked like Dark Man. Let's, that's a throwback to my childhood, but it was really something to see him kind of like have these disguises and then the big reveal there. But it was interesting to see how he was also foreshadowing, and this will be my second takeaway from the episode. He tells Gordon there will be more like me, and that was an interesting part. Let's be honest. This is the beginning of Gotham City that we know, and we've already been introduced to some of the would-be characters. I was glad. I know this was only like the fourth episode, but I was kind of glad that we didn't get Enigma back. They have to work on that character a little bit, but it was really an interesting thing to see this would-be vigilante come up and take justice into his own hands. And then, Bruce at the end with the little to-do to Alfred, what he said there was, a nice foreshadowing of what he's eventually going to become as Batman. But there was more. So that if this series, which it seems that way, that we're going to get a second season, it doesn't seem to be going in a bad direction. But we're sitting there. We're getting something. We're getting somewhere. So I mean, yeah, we're going to get more people like this, and we're going to wonder how is Renee Montoya, who eventually will become the Question, and Crispus Allen, who will eventually become the Spectre, how those characters will tie in. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing. I think also, a third takeaway is Cobblepot. He's got this ruthless growth. He's kind of right now not taking no for an answer. He's become very ruthless over the last few episodes. So you're kind of, I'm really scared of this guy. Every time he comes in, he's got that kind of little, Pee Wee Herman-ish smile and look to him. But, deep down inside, he's got an aggressive streak, and that's what is scary and good about the character right now, and watching him rise to power. Uh, so you got to kind of wonder how that's going to go. And especially if he's found out to be alive, how that's going to play out for Fish Mooney. I'm going to say it right now. I do not see Jada Pinkett Smith in season 2. I think the character is written in such a way to kind of introduce us to the underworld. We have the players there. We have who's going to be what. And I'm just thinking the season finale has to have some kind of death, something that's going to be the moment of the series. And I think that's what we need right now. We need to see Fish Mooney. Sorry, Jada Pinkett. I love you. You're doing this good. You make me not want to like you on the show. You know, but we all like you, and that's what's happening right now. You just kind of see the writing on the wall that somebody's going to die, and I think it's going to be her. So we'll see. I think the other, another good takeaway this week was Gordon's apartment. I hadn't really noticed it over the last few times that we've seen it, but the clock tower, he's in a clock tower, and it kind of brings back the watchtower, that whole Justice League type feel, or the Birds of Prey, or, if you watch Smallville, there was kind of this thing with one of the characters on there living in a watchtower, and this kind of brings, the little pieces together. So it was kind of interesting where Gordon isn't necessarily going to be a superhero in the future, but everybody said it. Who's read the comic? He's a smart man, and he's probably figured that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but he's just not admitting it. To protect Bruce's reputation and Batman's safety. All that. But there is kind of that nice little nod to the fans. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'm liking Selina, how she's walking the line. She's showing us what the character. I mean, the new 52 Catwoman is probably more bad than good, but given the original pre-crisis Catwoman, how she went. At the post-crisis, we saw where
she was good. She was with Batman and helping Batman and the Bat family. That's good, and that's kind of what they're giving us a little bit in this series. I think is those things where you can see that line, you can see why there is that chemistry between Bruce and Selina. So it was good. It was good. So my big three. Is the Alfred and Bruce relationship. We saw a little bit of the fun side of it, where Alfred is taking that fatherly role, and that's the one thing in the comic is, Bruce and Dick and Tim and Jason all have looked at Alfred as that fatherly role, even though Bruce is the adoptive father of the first 3 Robins. Alfred has been a big part of their lives too, and so we kind of get to see that in this episode a little bit, and I thought that was a real good nod, because I don't think we get to see that much. The Michael Caine version of Alfred in the Dark Knight trilogy, especially that last one, Dark Knight Rises, was really good. We got to see some of the emotion, especially when he thought Bruce was dead at the end. I think it really plays out well. Seeing this father-son relationship build up between the two of them. The other big three, I think, was the fact that Selena said she could see at night. Um, you know, we're kind of at a point where we're not building up superpowers or anything like that right now, but just the fact that one of the previous Catwomen on the big screen had superhero like powers, um, plays out nicely in this. That, hey, it could happen. Jim Gordon kind of laughs it off, but we get to see that for a little bit. And then my final one is a lot of Arkham. We're hearing a lot about Arkham. We know it's going to be there soon. They're going to show it soon. Um, but they're giving us a need for it, especially with these criminals that are showing up. You can see Cobblepot having to be there. Hey, who knows? Maybe even Fish Mooney doesn't um, end up dead. Maybe she ends up in Arkham for some reason. Who knows? But it really plays out well. So yeah, that's my review of Gotham. So I'm gonna give this episode 8.5. I think it was good. I liked how Jim had to make Harvey kind of choose quickly to save his life and the life of the Balloon Man, even though he would have rather had seen the Balloon Man go. But you can kind of see, because Harvey is not as bad in the comic books. So yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there to a good point. I've always loved Donald Logue as an actor, and just last season he did a stint on SVU. I think it was a 7 or 8 episode stint on SVU, and really watching that made me excited to see him play Harvey Bullock. And I'm not disappointed. So that's my Gotham review, and now on to the Flash.